Our key verse is 1 Kings 18:44. Now, Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of England, said, "Success is walking from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm." You know, now let that marinate in your spirit this week. Don't rush past that. Many of us here are at crossroads in life. Some have an empty nest, some have retirements, kids starting school for the new year. Some will be in college soon, parents needing help with their latter years, health attacks, financial attacks, things you can't, things that can try to get you off track for your purpose and your joy.
Amen.
Athletes need a slump every now and then to make them appreciate their commitment to stay hungry. I believe God still sends trials to make us hungry and to break complacency in our lives.
All right. Amen.
You see a batter or somebody, a pitcher or a quarterback or whatever, they get in a slump. Especially in baseball more than you do football. When they talk about a hitting slump or a pitching slump, you can sit back to the minors or lower. Sometimes you're out of a job. Football is more forgiving. RG3 still has a job, so that lets you know that you can be a bad quarterback and still be suited up every week. But as I'm looking at that slump, it gives you a commitment. I know I've done better. I know I can do better. I know there's greatness within me, so I got to get back to that point where my greatness was at its peak. I got to get back to that hungriness, to that desire to be the best that I am.
Amen.
They asked the young quarterback coming up behind Brady, did he think he was better than Brady? And he said yes. And everybody looked at him like he was crazy. He said, I couldn't do my job if I didn't think I was better than Tom Brady. I can't be me if I don't think I'm the best there is. And so that's the attitude you have to have when you're dealing with Christ here. Christ wants you hungry. Don't get complacency in your walk. Don't get complacency in your marriage. Don't let that spirit of complacency in anything that you do. On your job, sometimes we get slack. As I went into Walmart on Kirk Road the other day, I saw them installing all these electronic machines. They eliminated like 8 cashiers and made scanners. And I was one of the people always frustrated that, man, all these lines here, where's the cashiers at? So I made a few Facebook comments, so maybe that inspired them to fire some of the people. I don't know. But anyway, when you go now, you're down to 3 lines that have a human being. Everything else is scan yourself and do yourself. That is that many people whose families and jobs are going to be eliminated. And I realize they got Amazon on their back and they got to compete. But it's still the purpose. Scanners don't buy homes. Scanners don't need medical care. Scanners don't send their kids to school. So to build a community, you need these people to be employed, to pay taxes, to keep coming in at Walmart to purchase stuff. And even if you put everybody on aid, there's going to be a point sooner or later where they can't support everybody on aid because somebody's going to have to pay taxes for that to happen. So there's a breaking point on this thing. But modernization can become a hindrance. Amen. But then as I looked at another thing, General Electric and its 125-year-old industry giant, whose jet engines propel travelers around the globe and whose electrical generators light millions of households, declared on Monday that it would be installing its first new leader in 16 years. Now, Jeffery Emmett, 61, the departing chief executive, transformed GE over the past decade, jettisoning most of its once huge financial business, which seemed to threaten the company's survival after the 2008 economic crisis. Wall Street applauded those moves, but investors grew disenchanted as the company's stock price and profits stagnated in recent years. His successor, John Flannery, 55, a longtime GE executive who spent much of his career in finance deal-making, raising expectations among some observers that he might look to sell off pieces of the sprawling company. Mr. Flannery told analysts that he would embark on a comprehensive review of all GE's businesses with speed and urgency and no constraints. Mr. Flannery's tenure may well be determined by the shape and the economic role and the conglomerates like GE, expansive companies with seemingly limitless business ambitions, that once defined America's industrial age. Now GE is among the last of its breed. Now you may ask, Bishop, what's that have to do with my life? I am not a stockholder in GE. The point being, if a 125-year-old company can change when something's not working, then why can't you? When Jeffrey took over GE owned many companies that were just getting by and draining resources. He made the decision to sell everything that they weren't number one and number two in. Everything in the marketplace that GE owned, if they weren't doing the number one or the number two, Jeffrey made this decision in 2008, sell it. And everybody thought he was crazy. But when he got rid of the things that were draining GE, the things that they didn't have until they was into cable, they was into all this stuff, and they were into everything. And he said, if we can't make a profit in that business and be the best or the next best, it's wasting our time.
All right.
So when you start to sit down and look at your life and what you plan on doing, if you can't excel in your vision, if you can't excel in your plan for your life, you got to look at what's draining my life. What is wasting my time? What is taking away from my time? What am I spending too much time on that's not doing me any good? That's what I want you to get this morning when the vision is there. What is robbing the vision? What is taking the vision from you? What is hindering your vision? We all got fantasies. We all got things we want to do. We all got couches and chairs that capture us, which is the biggest deterrent for most people.
Amen.
If you sitting there watching a show you've seen before, you truly are wasting time. If you've seen this rerun more than twice, you've definitely wasted your time. If you can sit there and say the lines with the actors, then you know that you are wasting time that could be used somewhere else. We are all given a limited amount of time. So if when you get to heaven and the Lord asks you what you spent the majority of your time, if you spent the majority of your time on MeTV or something like that, or rewatching reruns that are over 50 years old, then that's not going to be a good report. If you're trying to catch up with He-Man and all this stuff from your childhood, that's not a good report. So whatever generation you in. But if you can't excel in these things that are draining your time and energy, you know, you got to take an inventory.
Yeah.
What is draining your time and energy? Now 1 Kings 18:1, Elijah and Obadiah. After a long time in the 3rd year, the word of the Lord came to Elijah, go and present yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain on the land. So Elijah went to present himself to Ahab, and now the famine was severe in Samaria, and Ahab had summoned Obadiah, his palace administrator. Obadiah was a devout believer in the Lord. While Jezreel was killing off the Lord's prophets, Obadiah had taken 100 prophets and hidden them in 2 caves, 50 in each, and he had supplied them with food and water. Now after the long time was after the declaration of the famine, after the declaration that there would be no water until he came back. So he left for 3.5 years. So in the 3.5 years he was gone, a lot of wells dried up. A lot of people's animals had dried up. A lot of things had dried up. People moved. People would sense like, I can get up out of this area. So I'm just saying. So when he shows up 3.5 years later, that's what they're talking about with after a long time. So he had taken and hid these 100 prophets in 2 caves. Now to feed 100 people, provide water in a drought took more than one believer. So he surrounded himself with people that bought into his vision and were willing to risk their lives. Obadiah wasn't running back and forth to these caves with buckets of water day after day and hams up under his arms.
All right.
Well, they were Jewish, so maybe it would have been ham. It could have been lamb or something, steak or whatever, yeah. But he was taking, to feed that many people on a daily basis, it took more than one man. I don't care how strong his prayer life and I don't care how strong he was as a believer, he had people helping him. He had people that were willing to risk his vision. People were willing to invest in his vision. People that were willing to see that there's something greater here than me. People that saw that God is doing something different. God is doing something new. Are you willing to do what God wants to do in your life? Are you willing to get a vision or get with somebody else's vision? I've been telling you that for 20-something years. If you don't have a vision, get on somebody else's vision. Some people are meant to be helpers with a vision. Not everybody's administrator. Not everybody's a leader. Some people are called. You know, people don't realize some of these pastors I've known for many years that have been on Calvary staff, they never had a desire to be the pastor. They've been the financial pastor. They've been the pastor of evangelism. They've been in all these jobs. They've been in those jobs for many, many years, and none of them plan on. I've seen some of them retire out of Calvary. Yeah. Right there, they just wanted to be the music pastor. They just wanted to be the finance. They never wanted to be the pastor. Right. So they were called to that, and they felt that's all they were called to do. Amen. That they could do God's will is that position. You know, so that's just because you're not the top dog or the head of what, that doesn't mean that's what, you know, God is not thinking any less of you. Amen. He said the body has many members. Right. And so you're supposed to be used where you need it. Amen. So Ahab said to Obadiah, go throughout the land to all the springs and valleys. Maybe you can find some grass to keep the horses and mules alive so we will not have to kill any of our animals. So they divided the land they were to cover. Ahab going in one direction, Obadiah in the other. As Obadiah was walking along, Elijah met him. Obadiah recognized him, bowed down to the ground and said, is it really you, my Lord Elijah? Yes, he replied. Go tell your master Elijah's here. What have I done wrong? asked Obadiah. That you handing your servant over to Ahab to be put to death. Now he was glad to see him, but he wasn't glad to hear his message. A lot of people are glad to see you, ain't glad to hear your message. All right. You know, they thankful you show up. Oh, the Lord showed up, the Lord brought you and all that, but you tell them something they don't want to hear, then their joy drops.
Come on.
You know, you tell people you got to, get right with God. You got to get lined up with God to be blessed. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear the prosperity. They want to hear the good news. They want to hear that you can do this and that you can maintain all your sins and just get in free. You know, that ain't the message that God had. Jesus didn't come and die for you to do everything you want to do all the time. I mean, what's the point? Right. Why would he die on the cross and suffer on the cross if you could keep living the way you were living? All right. Now people say you too strict. You too, it don't take all that. Yes. You know, Jesus drank wine. They'll tell you all that. You know, he was at the wedding drinking. And they'll go on and on. Well, the Bible does not say don't get drink. It does say don't get drunk. But it says don't get so much weed in your system you don't know where you're going. Right. It says don't get so much acid in your system you don't know where you're going. The Bible tells anything that brings you under its power. All right, come on. If you got a problem with lust, don't let that bring you. Come on. You know, you got to go from affair to affair. The person, as soon as you put one person out, move somebody else in. They passing each other in your hallway. I'm just saying. So you got to get this stuff together. Don't let lust control you. You got all these porno channels and all this stuff, that you got a problem with lust. So anything that brings you, if you can't pass up a burger, whatever is holding you back. We all have our favorite sin. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna move on, but let me tell you, we all have things that we fall short of the glory of God with. Amen. I'm just saying. People like the old folks say, you got 3 more pointing at you while you pointing at me, right? Amen. But see, that's the thing with believers, we get so comfortable where we at. Obadiah said, what have I done wrong that you handed me over to Ahab? He done seen Ahab put people to death that he thought was lying about where this man was. He said, surely as the Lord God lives, there is not a nation or a kingdom or my master not sent someone to look for you. And whenever a nation or kingdom claimed you were not there, he made them swear they could not find you. There are times when the vision brings fear of loss or suffering. Visions never make you comfortable or easy. Visions never make you comfortable or easy. If you can do your vision in your lifetime, it's not from God. That's a fact. God doesn't think people. God thinks generations. God thinks kingdom. His kingdom, not your kingdom. I've seen many ministries start and fall when the pastor dies, or whatever, or sins, or whatever. I've seen many churches since we've been in church, just come and go. Because there was sin in the camp, or because they weren't serving the Lord, or everybody bought into the pastor, and when the pastor could no longer pastor, then the church dies. And that's when you build the ministry. Y'all know I got vacation planned already for this year. If the Lord drops something on me where I can get away quickly, I got all y'all trained. If a quick vacation comes up unexpectedly, I'm going to take it. So I'm just saying. I don't never, the Lord might catch me up and take me somewhere I don't even know. I'm like Elijah, if something come up, I may get caught up in that to be somewhere else, you know. But, you know, I don't believe that you should be so tied to a ministry that you can't have a life.
Amen.
In anything you're doing. Amen. You know, if you can't be there, the next person steps up. You know, and that's the way a ministry should always flow. But he's like, man, what if the Lord takes you somewhere else? And this man gonna be looking for me. But now I tell you, now you tell me to go to my master and say, Elijah's here. I don't know where the Spirit of the Lord may carry you and where he leaves you. I mean, he can just take you anywhere. And then he says, haven't you heard, my Lord, what I did while Jezebel was killing the prophets of the Lord? I hid 100 of the Lord's prophets in 2 caves, 50 in each, supplied them with food and water, and now you tell me to go to my master and say Elijah's here. He will kill me. Elijah said, as the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, I will surely present myself to Ahab today. All right. Now here he mentions again how the believers had a pipeline of information to the prophet inner circle. It takes people praying and supporting your vision for it to come about. Yes, yes. You know, and one of the things that Marty had texted me the other day was that your people really love you. They really support you. He said they turned out for you to support you in your comedy thing. He said, I could tell how the people loved you. You know, that felt good. That, you know, y'all took from your time and you came and supported me, and we were the loudest one day. We turned a little club out, you know, but we had a good time, you know. And I mean, and it really touched me that, and for somebody that doesn't know anybody in the church to feel the love of this church and the support of this church. And that's what a vision is. That's what a dream is. That somebody else is willing to buy into what you're doing. Somebody else is willing to be a part of it. Somebody else is willing to go forward when God says, let's go forward. And see, we never know what God has on the other side of this thing. All it takes is those steps. You know, what was that movie with baby steps? You know, when he kept telling you got to take baby steps. What about Bob? What about Bob? It's baby steps till you get there. You know? Amen. Amen. He will. So they were on Mount Carmel. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went out to meet Elijah. When he saw Elijah, he said to him, is that you, troubler of Israel? I've not made trouble for Israel, Elijah replied, but you and your father's family have. You have abandoned the Lord's commandments and have followed the Baals. Now summon the people from all over Israel to meet me on Mount Carmel, and bring 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent word throughout all Israel and assembled the prophets on Mount Carmel. Elijah went before the people and said, how long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. But the people said nothing. That's that old, I'm going to wait and see how this plays out. You know, you riding through the hood and they ask you, who you riding with, what's your colors? You, I don't know what colors are yours. You know, that's the one thing, you know. You know, but I lived on 82nd and Sangamon, and I went one way it was Vice Lords, and I went the other way it was Gangsters Disciples. My block was right in the middle between these two gangs. So if I went to the store, I had to be a disciple. If I went the other way, I had to be a Vice Lord, you know. And then, you know, sometimes they crossed the blocks. They would ask you, who you with? I said, my mom won't let me be in the gang, man. She told me if I'm in the gang, she'll kill me. That was my answer. So y'all can kill me or she'll kill me. There ain't no way out for me either way it goes. I'm sorry, I can't be in a gang. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, they let me slide. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm scared to be in a gang. Y'all just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Ooh. I had time for that. This weekend I saw a preacher called Gary Glick praying for the president to protect him from jungle journalism. Given his constant attack on minorities, it accomplished its signal. These false teachers and barking dogs, they're the trouble. These pastors, I was watching this pastor compare him to David and fighting Goliath. And Lord, protect your servant, be with him and all this. And then saying jungle journalism. Why did he say jungle? Who were the two people the president attacked over the weekend? Two minorities. Don Lemon and what's the NBA? LeBron. So why did Jungle come into his comment? You know, I mean, you can just look at what the comment was. Why is it all of a sudden Jungle journalism? But for this man of God to stand there worshiping this man that doesn't serve anything about God, that is constantly having affairs on his wife, that is constantly doing everything that denies the word of God, has never prayed publicly before anybody. You know, this man has never declared. You show me one clip where he's declared that Jesus is his Savior. I've heard people say they heard he was a Christian. Now they have from a good friend said that he was Christian. God does not let you in heaven by your friend's recommendation. All right? God you can't co-sign somebody into heaven. Okay? Your mama's credit ain't gonna get you into heaven. Your grandma's credit ain't gonna get you into heaven. You got to pay your own account to get into heaven. Come on, Bishop. And for these people to just come up and just flat out lie over and over. And then people talking about they are Q. What is Q? Q is a mystic thing that's on the internet with 10 people supposedly working in the government that have all the secrets on how the government is out to get you. And so they were asking them, what's Q? It's that secret agency within the government that's trying to tear down America. Who is Q? We don't know, but it's 10 people that are really close. Well, how do you know Q exists? It's real. They're trying to deny it. And he's interviewing these idiots over and over talking about I am Q. They got t-shirts on. They got flags with I am Q. You know, Q is a myth. You know, and I'm looking at these idiots. They are just believing everything. You know, it's like that, what was it, Slender Man? Oh, yeah. When all them kids was believing Slender Man and they turned around and killed that little girl, tried to kill that little girl for Slender Man. They slit her throat and all that stuff so they could meet Slender Man. You have adults that are believing lies because it feeds what they want to hear. And so it was with this prophet. All these people were with Jezreel. They were with her because she was saying, Jezebel, they were saying what they wanted to hear. And these people, she's feeding 450 on one and 400 on the other. She's feeding as many as the prophet that was righteous. She's feeding as many on the other end from her table. And these are false teachers. There are so many false teachers that are being exposed in this day. Yes, it is. And this has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with selling out your faith. Yes. For a politician. Is it God or not? Is the Bible true or not? Right. You know? A lot of reality stars just fooling y'all. I'd rather have Reagan. He was a better actor. Even Arnold, I don't care if he was born in Switzerland, he's a better. Man. Then Elijah said to them, I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Get 2 bulls for us. Let Baal's prophets choose one for themselves, and let them cut him into pieces and put on the wood, but do not set fire to it. And I will prepare the other bull and put the wood on it, but not set fire to it. See, God will allow you to let the enemy choose first. Let them get the best seats first. Let them get all the accolades first. Let them get all their awards first. See, God's awards for you don't necessarily line up with the world's timeline. You know, just because you don't get it when you think you should get it, or it doesn't come when you think it's time to get it, it doesn't happen when everybody around you think that this is your season, this is your time. But if it hasn't lined up with God's timing, don't worry about it. He told them false prophets, y'all pick the one you want. You know, if your cow looks a little dry or whatever, pick that one. Whatever you want, pick. You take first choice. You should. So then you call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord. The God who answers by fire, he is God. Then all the people said, what you say is good. Now they finally moving from indifference. Okay, that's a good choice. We still ain't committed, but we'll let fate determine it. Fate's gonna say who the real God is. We ain't gonna say who the real God is, but fate will say who the real God is. So we gonna spin the wheel, and wherever it lands, that's the real God. It's the way a lot of people treat God. You know? Yes, we gonna, well, this case arrived, it works out, it works out. Whatever will be, will be. You know? So they took the bull given them and they prepared it. And they called on the name of Baal from morning till noon. All Baal answer us, they shouted. But there was no response. No one answered. And they danced around their altar they had made. At noon, Elijah began to taunt them. Shout louder, he said. Surely he's a god. Perhaps he's in deep thought or busy traveling. Maybe he's sleeping and must be awakened. One translator says he's gone asunder, which can be translated maybe he's in the bathroom. you know, is how you break it down. You can't disturb nobody in the bathroom. That's what he's trying to say. He's gone asunder. So they shouted louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears, as was their custom, until their blood flowed. But see, don't miss this. We here to sacrifice the blood of an animal. So when the animal's blood ain't working, let's cut ourselves. We got to take this to another level. Maybe you don't want his sacrifice. Maybe you want my sacrifice. The next step would be to throw their kids into the thing, if it got so intense. But they was already, my God ain't showing up. My plan ain't working. So let me kick this to another level. See, when you get into superstition and all this stuff, you're missing what God wants to tell you.
All right.
See, it reminds me when I used to go to Catholic school and they had all these statues everywhere. And you had the saint of houses, the saint of lost causes, the saint of Bernard. All these different saints they had. They had a saint, you had a different saint for everything. Saint Timothy, Saint Frederick, whatever. And you're dealing with all these saints, right? But somebody broke in and stole the saints. I'm like, man, if somebody stole the saints, if the saint can't keep himself safe, then we got a problem with saints. I mean, little saints should have cried out, they're trying to take me. That's back before burglar alarms were in churches, But it was kind of funny to go in and see several of the saints was missing. Yes, they had to do saint roll call, see which saints was missing. But several of the saints was missing, Wow, so when it gets down there, you got to cut yourself. Your own blood has to flow. That's when I watch these shows like The Prophet, where this guy goes around and invests in businesses that are trying to make it. And then he'll ask them, when's the last time you paid yourself? And they start crying. We ain't paid ourselves in a year and a half. Everything we have goes into business. We've maxed our credit cards, our family's credit cards, our friends' credit cards. And he gets to look at them. You've been, the first thing he does is pay up their back bills, and he gives them a check. Then he gives them a night off. Go let the pressure back off. Because you've been trying so hard to make this thing on your own. And if he's willing to invest in these people, first of all, he takes the worry off of them. And then he'll invest in your product. But then some people go right back to where they were after he's remodeled and he spent all this money to do their business over and show them a better plan. And they'll come in and say, this has been working for me all these years. Well, why did you call me?
Right.
If it was working, why did you call me? And that's what people don't realize. If a plan is working for you, then why are you here? If you need this, then people in need, if you're not in need, you don't go seek help.
Right.
But see, these guys have got to cutting themselves. And said midday passed, and they continued their frantic prophesying until the time of the evening sacrifice. We done missed a couple sacrifices, the morning, the evening, all this stuff. There was no response. No one answered. No one paid attention. Then Elijah said to all the people, come here. They came to him. Now he done moved the crowd. He repaired the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. Elijah took 12 stones, one from each of the tribes' descendants from Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, your name shall be Israel. See, the thing you got to realize, you got to restore the altar in your life. God time, fellowship time has to be in your life. Many of us have phones. You got to set your God time in your phone. Devotion should be set with your alarm clock.
Amen.
And it should be a time that's not altered. Just like you have to meet with that loan officer, or you got to meet with that person that's going to loan you $1,000 and they told you to be here at this time. I'm talking about important calls. You trying to get this finance or you want to refinance your car, you know what I'm talking about. They're real important. You done set 2 o'clocks. Your phone, your kid's phone, and the Barbie's phone. You done got everybody's phone. I can't miss this appointment. That's why it's got to be with your God time. And you got to set that time. One of my mentors told me this week that you got to treat, when you make your own schedule, you got to treat it like business.
Right.
People at business can't just get on Facebook, or most businesses. They can't reply during working hours. And so if you are setting your own schedule or setting your plan, you got to cut off all this other stuff and be at work. Whatever work God has called you to do on your vision, your dream, whatever you're doing, you got to set that aside like somebody's paying you. Right. Because God is paying you. And if you want to go to that next level with God, you got to shut out all these distractions. And your day can't go. I mean, I'm preaching this for me, don't get me wrong. But your day can't go until you put God first. Right. You know, this is one of them sermons he's been telling me about, so y'all just ignore it. But I got to get my life back on schedule and quit letting people come in and distract me and little things, these little foxes. I got to have that God time to hear from God where he's going with this thing, to hear from God what he wants me to do, to hear from God what his plan is. I got to listen for God. And then I got to wait and see what God says go. I don't, you don't just take off till you got a part of a vision. That happens to me all the time. My grandsons will take off running when I tell them go get something upstairs. He be halfway upstairs. He'll come back, what you want? You left while I was explaining. What you want, Papa? Well, if you'd stayed here for another 30 seconds, you'd have got the full message. Now he had to come back downstairs and ask me what I want, you know? And then he's walking away while I'm talking. He's turning your back while I'm trying to, I ain't that slow, man. Wait a minute. You got to get it out fast with them, you know? Because they want to get back to that Xbox. So you got to restore God's time. And you got to take this weekend, get your phone together. Right. If you got to work during the day, then have your time in the evening. Have your time set aside. After dinner, don't cut the TV on. Put your God time in there. Whenever your downtime is, before you start to vegetate, put your God time in there. Can't you watch with him 1 hour? All right. If it has to be 15 broke up, 15 broke up, 15 broke up, 15 broke up, can you give him 1 hour? That's all I'm asking. If you stuck in traffic, that's a good hour. If you sit there, you ain't going nowhere. Let's plug into the Lord. With the stones he built on the altar in the name of the Lord, and he dug a trench around it large enough to hold 2 sheafs of flour. He arranged the wood, cut the bull into pieces, and laid it on the wood. Then he said to them, fill 4 large jars with water, and pour it on the offering and on the wood. Do it again, he said, and then do it again. Do it a 3rd time, he called it. And they did it a 3rd time. The water ran down around the altar and even filled the trench. At the time of the sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed. Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are the God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord. Answer me. See, these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil. Also licked up the water in the trench. Come on. Won't he show up and show out? We still got this other sacrifice over here that ain't nothing happening. This wet sacrifice. Not only that, you know how hot heat has to be to melt stones and wood? People make campfires and put stones around it, you know, just to contain the fire from going where you don't want it to go. I mean, just to let you know what God is doing here. God is going above and beyond what anybody would expect. When God gets to working on your dream and vision, you got to expect God to go above and beyond what you think he'll do. He's going to go above and beyond your expectations. He's not only going to fulfill your dream and vision, he's going to bring it to a level you never even thought it would be at. But last week they were talking about owning yachts and islands and all that stuff. I got with that right away. You know, that's one of my shows, beachfront property. Come on, man, I can feel that. Living on the water shows, I watched that one too. Tiny living on a house on the water, I watched that. You know, hey, it's possible. These people building houses, living on canals and stuff. You can watch the fish and all that. I don't know about all that. But, you know, I'll be sleeping with a life jacket. But to each his own. Yeah. But hey, getting in the boat and sailing on down to the Bahamas and stuff, and you get ready. Hey, ain't no taxes on the water. You know, property taxes. I don't live here. Hey, we need your property tax. No, you don't. My boat don't live here. dead. That's right. I'm feeling that already. When all the people said this, they fell prostrate and cried, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." Then Elijah commanded them, "Seize the prophets of Baal. Don't let anyone get away."
All right.
They seized them, and Elijah had them brought down to the Kishon Valley and slaughtered there. And Elijah said to Ahab, "Go eat and drink, for there's the sound of heavy rain." And we talking 3.5 years. Go eat and drink, man. You better get out of here. There's the sound of rain coming.
Lord.
Somebody telling you on a hot day after 3.5 years of drought,
Yes.
you better get busy because it's raining. You better get about your business because you're going to get caught in a storm.
Oh, yes.
When God is getting ready to do something in your life and He's ready to open that door, get ready for that storm. Get ready for the outpour. All that drought, all that stuff you've been waiting on, all that stuff you've been praying on, all that stuff you've been saying, when is it going to come through? When is it my turn? When is it going to happen in my life? You know, you congratulated other people. You done patted them on the back and you didn't have no jealousy, but you steady saying, "Lord, when's my round?" Man, age is catching me. You know, I want to enjoy mine while I can get around. You know, I don't mind being blessed in a wheelchair, but let me be fully functional when I can enjoy mine. You know, I'll take it whenever you give it, however you get it. But let me be like Caleb. Caleb said, "My going and coming today is just like it was 40 years ago. Give me the hill country. Let them young folks have the flat land." He said, "Let me have the toughest part you got in the promised land." And it said he went there and he took it. This 84-year-old man went up there and took it, like the young men that were born after the desert. So, I'm just saying. Those that were born during the desert time, they up there trying to tell this old 84-year-old man, him and Joshua were the only two that made it. The only two that believed God. The only two that believed the vision. And they say,
Wow.
Elijah telling you better go. It's raining. It's raining. So Elijah went off to eat and drink. So Ahab went off to eat and drink. But Elijah climbed to the top of Mount Carmel, bent down to the ground and put his face between his knees. So this man that went into prayer while he's giddying up, going down the hill. "Go look towards the sea," he told his servant. And he went up and looked. See, sometimes we're not going to the proper source to find our needs. Elijah told this man where to go. If you're looking for water, go to water. He didn't say go in the forest and see if you can find some water. He told him go look to the sea. See, sometimes we go to looking for resources and things from God and we're not going to God.
All right.
We going to man, we going to friends, we going to credit unions, we going to all these other things. We going to Visa, MasterCard, and everybody else. But did you go to the source of what you need? Did you go to the one that provides everything you need? Did you go to the one that will supply all of your needs according to His riches and glory? See, we looking towards Visa. Jesus don't need a credit rating. I'm just saying, Jesus never overdrawn. His account is always fully paid. You know? Hey, I was talking about that double platinum card that Visa got. I heard about that don't have any limit. I want to see it in my life. Just because, dude, you have a credit, you can go buy a Lamborghini. You can buy a mansion with this credit card. Your credit rating is such that they know you got enough in the bank. Like Oprah can buy 24 million, 50 million, 100 million without sweating. House, put it on plastic. You know? Do you know your negotiating power? Oh no, we gotta take all destination charge, freight charges, prep charges. I know 3 more dealers that'll do all that for me and more. Not only do I want this car, I want lunch. You know, and a week in a hotel in Florida. If I will buy your car. You know, I mean that's the thing you don't realize. When God opened that door, see, oh, we gotta quit thinking little. He told him, go back to that sea and look. And there's nothing there, he said. 7 times, Elijah said, go back. Now, how do you think the servant felt? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Lord. 7 times this man done sent him back to look. 7 times. He's about ready to put his resume in. I'm through with this. There's nothing there, he said. 7 times Elijah said, go back. The 7th time the servant reported, a cloud as small as a man's hand, is rising from the sea. That cloud of God's blessing is rising from his resource. It is just as big as your hand right now. It's just big enough to let you know that God is still with you. It's just big enough to let you know that God is still seeing your vision. It's big enough to let you know that God is telling you, look, look, look. The resource has always been there. The resource has always been there for him to release it. So he's going to show you just a little sample. I only got enough for your hand. If you ain't close enough, you'll miss a hand from a distance. You know, and somebody tell me I see a hand over there in the Bears Stadium on the top level, or the White Sox, you know, cellular field, and they at the top, or whatever field it is. You know, and you said, I see somebody's hand up there at the top. If you ain't got no binoculars, you're going to miss that hand. But he's saying, he came back, Master, I saw a hand. This big. There's a cloud out there, but it's only this big. There's a cloud that big. There's been a drought 3.5 years. A cloud this big is not going to fill these streams. A cloud this big is not going to restore this grass. A cloud this big is not going to feed all these hungry animals. A cloud this big is not going to get us to where we need to go. A cloud this big won't do what I want to do. But a cloud this big ain't what my God is sending me. What my God is sending me is a tithe. He's sending me reassurance. He's sending me an offering. He's sending me what he can do. He's sending me what he will do. He's telling me, look for that hand. Just a little bit to get you where you need to go. Just a little bit. Your breakthrough may take several attempts, but hold on till you rise. Just hold on. So Elijah said, go tell Ahab, hitch up your chariot and go down before the rain stops you. Okay. I remember one time when I came back from Germany in '77, the ground was cracked in Fort Hood. It got like 125 in the shade. And the cracks were so big you could twist your ankle. Walking in there, they were that big that your ankle would crisp. You know, so you imagine that was just a summer in Texas. So I'm imagining 3.5 years of drought. There was cracks in that dirt big enough to lose a horse. You know what I'm just saying? That the ground had no water in that long. You know, when you go to a place that it has not seen water in that long of a time, 3.5 years of drought. And this man is telling the king, get on your horse, because the rain is coming and your horse is going to get stuck.
All right.
That's faith. Now right now you in dry land. He told him to leave. He just clicked along casually. And then all of a sudden he said, no. Send the man and tell him you got to pick up the pace. Because the rain is coming and you're going to get stuck. When you get caught up in my blessing, you get caught up in what God's going to do, you're going to get stuck. See, you were progressing along. You were doing your thing. You know, you were doing good where you at. But when God breaks through with my blessing, and when God breaks through what I'm looking for, when God does what he's going to do in my life, you're going to get caught up in the mud because I'm going to be flying past He said, meanwhile, the sky grew black, the clouds, the wind rose, a heavy rain started to fall, and Ahab rode off to Jezreel. And the power of the Lord came on Elijah, tucking his cloak in his belt. He ran ahead of Ahab, all the way to Jezreel. This old man ran to this horse at full gallop. He ran in front of him. He was guiding him back home. Some scholars said it was 17 miles, some said it was 30 miles. Either way, this old man ran him back home. You know? Not only did he prophesy the mud and the rain, and he's kind of get home in the rain and everything, but this prophet is running in front of him through all this sloshing and all this other stuff, and the prophet has enough power that his feet ain't even touching the ground. He's just running right along. Come on, man, let me show you how to get home. It's too dark out here. It's too cloudy. I'm going to give you a ride home. I'm going to show you how to get to your house. Just not only did we accomplish what we're going to accomplish, I'm going to show you how to get back where you'll be safe. I'm not holding a grudge against you. I'm not holding nothing against you. Go on home, man. Let me show you what my God can do. You can't be out here when my God is showing his glory. You can't be out here when my God is refreshing and redoing everything. You can't be out here when God is operating at a new level. You can't be out here when God opens the heavens. You need to go back to the rest of them liars and sinners and be where you need to be at.
All right.
My first point, don't let false teachers and barking dogs slow you down.
All right.
Churchill also said, You'll never reach your destination if you stop to throw stones at every dog that barks. You'll never reach your destination if you stop to throw stones at every dog that barks. You know, I was really proud of LeBron. I've never been a big, you know, Will Chamberlain's still my best of all time. You got to go back some years, and his records still stand. Here's the side note, but you know, LeBron came back with tell the kids keep going ahead. That was his response to all the stuff that happened this weekend. He tweeted back out, you know, keep the promise alive. Keep doing what you're doing. He did not respond to the barking dog at all. He acted like nothing happened all weekend. None of that stuff happened. He told the kids, keep the promise going forward. Keep what I promise you would go to college. I promise you I would pay for your education. I promise you if you excel in school, I'm going to give you a brand new bike when the school starts. Everything I promise you is coming to you. He said, keep the promise alive. That's all he said. Keep the promise alive. Didn't respond to none of that mess. Didn't answer one barking dog. You know, they told him to shut up and dribble on Fox News. You a player, shut up and dribble. You know, and stuff like that. The brother, don't respond to barking dogs. Keep your eyes on the prize. And so, 2, when the sky grows blackest, there's a cleansing in your storm. Things start to looking down and out, and that sky starts to getting rough. Storm is coming. Storm has a cleansing. Folks that ain't ready gonna get washed away. You know, folks that wasn't ready for the storm and they didn't prepare for the storm. You know, I'm fascinated. These people that live in beachfront properties that get wiped out every other year. So we gonna rebuild? No, we ain't. I'm taking my U-Haul, and whatever fits in this U-Haul, we gone. I'm going to dry land. I may come to Galveston and visit. You know, I may come to El Paso and visit or wherever. But I'm not living on the Gulf no more. You know, Mobile, all these places you can count every few years they're gonna get wiped out. That's it. Beachfront property ain't worth all that to me. But there's always people that, my grandfather was here. Yeah, he's buried in a soggy grave. But I'm just saying, that's all, because every few years it's getting soaked. You know, I'm just saying. But when it's the blackest, that's when God can do the most. When you have this mist around you, this haze, and you're in confusion, and you don't know why I'm doing it, you get the feeling, well, it's not worth it, or is it going to work, or maybe I missed God's plan for me, or maybe I went out in my own, and maybe I did this because I wanted to do it, and you get to doubting yourself. When it gets the darkest is when God is doing his best. My last point, the last couple of months I've been reflecting on the ministry, and this servant went 7 times before he had the desired result. We're coming up on 3 times 7 as a ministry. So I get to looking at these numbers, you know, I get to think, come on, man, he got his ass in 7 times. We get ready to hit 3 times 7. You know? And there's times, you know, I look at this and Lord, am I doing something wrong? Is it what is it? You know? But he's kept us. He has kept us. We have survived, and of all the churches I've known that have quit and gave up, Pastor House just gave up preaching. He had like 300 or 400 members, and his 25th year, he just said he was through. I'm like, man, you got everything I'm looking for. He had a Christian school, he had a salary, and there was no scandal, there was nothing like that. He just said, I'm through. You know, I'm like, Lord, if there's opening, I'm right here. They ain't really got to go look. I'm only a few blocks from here. You know, but I'm just, you know, you look at over the years, you be, man. But God keeps telling you, that ain't what I called you for. That ain't the season. And you got to quit getting off focus. You got to quit judging where you at, or judging who shows up, or who doesn't come and who does come. You got to get in front of it. If the light bill gets behind, it gets paid. If the mortgage gets behind, it gets paid. You know, now that's why they don't even tell me the bills, because I get frustrated. So I don't know. You know, they still are. So by faith, they still being paid. You know, but I'm just saying, you got to trust God. And each time I get off track, I mean, we had 7 times 7. Man, and he gave me that verse for the anniversary, that he is of age. Ask him yourself. I'm turning this over to the ministry. If you want to know what this church is doing, ask the ministry. I was telling Pastor Foster the other day at his grand opening, I don't know what time choir practice is. I don't know what time the ushers meet or whoever. I'm going to ask the person over there. I don't even care to know the time. You know, I think it's Wednesday, but I'm not sure the time. You know, I've been in there a few times, but I wasn't sure the day was. But I'm just saying, that's not what I'm not caught in all that. You know, when did they do that? That's not what God called me to do. You know, He didn't even call me to join the choir. You know, which praise God. You know, many of you appreciate that. But when you're dealing with vision and you're dealing with dream, you got to take the clock out. You got to take your expectations out.
Yes. Yes.
But I thank God that He gave me that verse, and it was a verse that Andre preached many years ago for our men's day. What was that? That had to be like one of the first years, 98, 97, Flo's Uncle Andre. And man, he preached that to it was like 5 or 6 of us did. A man among all of us. But that message stood with me, that cloud. And all these years later, 20-something years later, that one message is still with me. That God said it may be like a little cloud, but hang in there because He's going to do more. Amen. Amen. God bless you. Amen. Does anybody need prayer? Amen.